All right, we were talking about residue control, which is a big concept. Now, Kevin Brown last night was, I was chatting with him and sort of getting more of this idea into my head. And we talked about a couple different ways to remove the residue. Now, in this particular car, and really with older Ferraris, the paint seems to be a lot softer. So I'm not going super aggressive. So in this case, I don't have the microfiber cutting pad because I don't really need it. So I'm using something a little bit softer from Rupes. But what I wanted to show you, and I have the air hooked up here, this is a grit guard. You know, the system, and what it is you can actually put the pad in this, and I'll pull the camera in. It's pretty cool. There's a little bit of water in here, and you can put the machine in, and what it will do is it'll remove the residue. So before, you have all these little, and clearly it's red, so there's paint transfer going on here. There's all these little bits of the paint transfer, and that's what potentially could cause the hazing. So one of the ways you can do it, Kevin was telling me, is to take a microfiber pad or a towel and just lightly do that, and obviously there's some red that comes off and you've cleaned it off. Or you can dunk it in this machine. Again, I'll hold it up for you. And it's really, as you can see, it's starting to get cleaner and clearer. Is it ever going to be right back to yellow? No, but I can see that those pores are wide open. You can dry it off on there, or it's kind of cool. They have this little thing that you can stick out. And now the pad is clean. So the question is going to be, how often do you do that? Now, some people go crazy and do it after every single you know, pass or whatever. You don't need to go that crazy, but again, it depends on what it is. So for instance, if you're doing a boat and it was really chalky and gunky, well, that's a whole different topic, but there's going to be a lot of residue on there, so you may have to clean it sooner. This one here, it's not that dirty, but I am getting paint transfer. So for me on this one, it's about every panel. So you know, about this distance, a 2x2, which is relatively typical. What I'll do is I'll take it off, I will wipe it with the microfiber towel, get as much junk off, and then every other pass I'll go into this machine, and again I'll show you what it looks like with the camera. It's pretty cool, but you kind of have to have a healthy balance between how long is it going to take me to do the detail versus how much paint residue or debris are you dealing with right now. So lots of intricate things, and I'm sorry my brain is you know, it's taking a long time because it's very intricate, so I'm trying to bring you guys along, but at the same time do the car. So I'm going to keep working. I have a lot of work ahead of me, and as I cross things, I'm going to bring them up to you guys. But it's a really exciting car. All right, every 5 seconds I keep stopping to, I think there's something cool that I want to talk to you about. Now, you can do multiple things. See how this looks very wide, right? So you look at it right now. Let me spin this so you can see the black thing. Looks like this would work perfect on this little area, right? And you want to, the bigger the size of the pad, the less or the slower the residue builds up because there's more surface area, right? Makes sense. But because this is not a flat wing, so it goes like this, it's flat, and then it pitches up at the end, what happens is I only have about this much space. I have only about this line here to be able to work this. So as soon as I start to go back a little bit because of the, you know, the way this machine is built, it's going to protect me so I don't burn through the very thin paint here. That's why I love this type of machine. It gives me a little bit of safety, so it may not just like grind right through it and burn this down. That would be bad. So I'm going to turn this on. Hopefully the camera can catch it, but where is it? So there's my black line, and what you'll see is it'll spin, but as it gets here, it'll slow and or stop right on the edge. So that's why I would need another machine. So right here, this is great for the 3-inch air that I have over there, so I can go and smoothly do it. I was thinking to myself when I was, you know, people maybe watching go, why is he using such a small machine that'll take forever? And there's a purpose behind it, because believe me, anytime I can use a big, like on the hood or the roof here, I'm gonna use a big machine because it's gonna take, like I said, longer for the residue to build up, which means I can go longer until I potentially get those, you know, swirls, and I have to use the grit guard, or I have to blow it with air or clean it out. Here, let me show you. This is kind of cool. These are the little things that get me excited. All right, so the machine is running, right? It's spinning. Watch when I come up on the edge. See how it stops? See how it slowed down? I come here, spin fast, come up on the edge. So why is that important? Well, on cars like this, there's not a whole lot of paint here, and I certainly can't take this to Mako and fix it. So I like the fact that it stalls right there. And point number 2 is use the correct size machine that's going to help you, and more importantly, protect the car. These are cool things. All right, now I really promise I have to get this car, but every time I find something, I'm like, oh, I got to tell you guys this. So I love it. It's actually coming out really, really well. And the paint itself is always a little bit easier to work with. It's more dangerous to work with it because you don't want to, you make a mistake on this, it's kind of a big deal. But the paint is so soft that it's kind of just like warm butter. I can kind of mold it the way that I want to. So this thing will shine really easily, as opposed to, let's say, like a ceramic type paint where it's just, man, I got to go at it and almost chisel at it to make a dent in it, if you will. So anyways, I got to keep going. This is so fun. What we're talking about right now is the A pillar, right? This is the first A pillar, B pillar. On the A pillar here, you guys probably notice I don't put a whole ton of tape on because I don't get a crazy amount of sling. But in this sensitive area where there's old school gaskets and they're starting to crack and get nasty, I don't want to have to go in there and clean them out later. For one, because I don't want to have to go out and clean them, but two, they're so old, I don't want to get stuff stuck down in there. So it took me 30 seconds to put this on here. So I have my 3-inch, which is typically what most people have as their small polisher. And the 3-inch is great, but as you can see, it's not attached. I put it here. There's going to be a bit of overlap. When there's overlap like that, sometimes on the edges here, you're going to put lots of pressure because of lots of heat because of the extra pressure. And again, you don't want heat when you're polishing, especially on these edges here. These edges are super thin. So this is when a tiny little machine like this will come in, that we were talking about before. So let me show you how it's done. I put this over, and now look at the size. Look at that. That's absolutely perfect for this particular little A pillar. So tap, tap, tap like we normally would, and I'll come in here and just gradually build up. When you see little areas that may have a little scratch here, you can zip up a little bit. There you go. Come back in here with a towel. Oh yeah, that's perfect. So the bottom line is having the right tool for the particular, part of the car just makes your life a whole lot easier. And having a high quality tool that'll last for a long time, that's important to me. So anyways, I got to go do the other side right now. We're just kind of plugging along here, and I'll show you the end shot. Right, there's another thing I want to mention. When you're working on a car like this, they typically, because they're more sporty, they have these big wide door jambs here, and again, this little machine comes in really, really handy. I might be able to get away with a 3-inch on this because it's so deep, but most cars, typical street cars, will have about a 1 to 2-inch little deck here before you get into the car. Now everybody knows when you get in, there's tons of little scratches here, but we seem to talk about, and I'm guilty of it too, the outside of the car, the interior, the glass, the this and that, but the door jambs are not really talked about a whole lot. So we're going to shoot a whole separate video, but again, I just want to show you, again, the point of today's video is a lot of people have asked me, what machines do you have, and do you just use one or do you two? And it's like, it's hard to answer that because there's so many variables on the car, so I have machines to do that. But at the same time, I'm not encouraging everybody to go out and buy 7,000 machines, but based on what you do in your business, this is relative to what I'm doing. So anyways, polishing the door jambs are huge, because when the guy when he opens the door, it's the first thing he's going to see is all these cut up, and it is cut up pretty bad here. But you're going to do it the same exact way, just like you would on the paint. Tap, 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 tap. Come in here. So you hear me pull the trigger a little bit here, there, here. I'm just doing that to kind of help me spread it around. And then you can come in and go a little smoother. This will really make the car pop when the customer opens it up, which is super important. It's kind of like working on, you know, the center console. That's the thing he's going to look at, he's going to touch. So you don't want to forget doing it. All right, guys, you're in the bathroom with me. If that's not creepy enough, I don't know what else is. But I'm gonna dump out the 5-gallon bucket that's full of all the residue. Remember, residue. This thing's actually pretty cool too. This is what mechanics use because they don't want to touch anything when they're washing the hands. So you step on this bar, the water squirts out. It's the little things that are important. Anyways, so what you do is you pull out your grit guard. You can see it's all red from the red Ferrari, obviously. And I want to pour this out so that you can see all the little pieces of residue. In fact, you know what? I'm going to grab the camera right now. I'll show you the little bits of things that are in there. That's really important. So let's do this right now. All right, check this out. Look at all that. And if you look close enough, I'm not sure if the lights, you see those little black things in there? And then all this little stuff right here. That's all the junk that you're getting off the car. Here it goes, pouring it out. That's a lot of residue right there. I'd much rather have it in this bucket and in the microfiber towels than going against my pad and the paint. Guys, we're all done. I'm so excited. This was a lot of fun. This car means a lot to me, and I appreciate Speed Sport Tuning giving me a buzz and letting me work on this before the customer picks it up. Because I think what they did was they acquired this car and they put it on a dyno and fixed it up, and then they called me last minute because the guy's going to come pick it up soon. So I'm excited to see his expression and all that. Also, I forgot to mention in the video why I love the F40 so much is the relationship between the 959, the Porsche 959. They were together at the same time, so sort of rivals, and I love reading about that because my 964, which is right behind the camera, is sort of derived, especially the all-wheel drive system, from the 959. If you get a chance, Google search it. It's a really great story. So I kind of love touching this piece of history. Also, my car is getting rebuilt and the motor's coming out, and we're doing tons of work, and I'm going to shoot all these amazing videos, but I'm doing it right here. So it was kind of serendipitous. This is a lot of fun. And I just want to remind you the point of the video, two things: residue control, right? We talked about that, and the multitude of tools that you can use for different little nuances and nooks and crannies and things. Just something you can think about. We're going to talk way more about that. We'll be on podcasts with Kevin Brown specifically, because he is the mastermind behind all these things. And a lot of the tools I bought were from buffdaddy.com, because especially the small ones, it's pretty intense. There's a lot of informational things there, so check it out. As always, guys, if you have any questions, shoot me an email, larry@ammonyc.com. I am really, really exhausted, but this was a lot of fun. So thanks again for watching, and I'll talk to you guys soon.